Hi everybody, my name is Dr. Corey Wren. I'm a vegan sociologist, a vegan feminist, and a vegan witch. Thanks very much for popping in here today. This is the November full moon, and it's known by lots of names, but one of the names that it's known as is the Beaver moon. One of the things that I like to do as a vegan witch is to challenge a lot of the taken for granted speciesism that transpires and is maintained and reproduced in the witchcraft community. Now, the Beaver moon is probably not as bad, definitely not as bad as, say, the Hunter's moon, which was last month. And that one, of course, by the way, the idea is with the lunar cycles is that just like with the solar cycles, humans have used these different moons in order to serve as a calendar, basically. Time to get this done, time to plan for that, time to harvest this. So with the Hunter's moon, for instance, that was typically a time where you go do the harvest in the wild spaces and kill a bunch of non-human animals. Not vegan, not necessary, not good, not a tradition I want to replicate. But now we're moving into November, and November being the Beaver moon. This, of course, is going to be specific to certain parts of the world. I'm American. We have beavers there. I'm in the UK here, and actually in Canterbury, the Kent Wildlife Trust has actually been reintroducing beavers. I've not seen one yet, but I've seen their handiwork right around the street because I live very close to the River Stour here. Anyway, so beavers are a part of life here, increasingly becoming more of a part of life. The idea around the Beaver moon is that this is a time for people to get busy, start making plans, and preparing for the winter season. And I guess that's fine. That's not anything necessarily very disparaging about non-human animals. But I do worry in witchcraft when we create stereotypes about animals, be they positive or negative. Positive stereotypes, nonetheless, can generalize a whole group of individuals and can reduce them. So it's just like, for instance, it's quite common for the stereotype to think, oh, well, all Asian people are super smart at math. Okay, well, that's a positive stereotype, but that's also quite limiting to a whole diversity of people. It's reducing them all. Or with women, women are just more caring and more nurturing. It's a positive stereotype, but again, it's reducing people. And oftentimes those can work in a backhanded way where we say, well, that's what you're supposed to do because you're more naturally nurturing, or you're more naturally good at math, or you're more naturally a leader, etc. So stereotypes can actually be used in harmful ways, even when they're positive. So that is one of the main worries I have about the Beaver moon. It's great that we're honoring beavers, especially when they've historically been so harassed and systematically killed and exploited. In the United States, for instance, beavers were almost wiped out for the fur trade. That was a whole founding of Canada was based on the mass killing of beavers for sale. So their hair, their fur could be sold in skin here in the UK for fashion. So I think it's great that we're honoring beavers who historically have just been treated as vermin. They're still vulnerable today, incidentally, because they're considered to be problematic in disrupting gardens, disrupting other developed areas, and they're supposed to know their place. So once again, we sort of have a positive stereotype, which is great in the grander scheme of the fact that beavers have not been treated well. But the fact remains is that beavers are not granted equal status. And without that equal status, stereotypes of any kind can be very problematic. So what can we do then as far as the Beaver moon for veganizing it? I'm not saying abandon the Beaver moon. Maybe we can widen it out and say that this is a time like the beaver, many other species, humans included, are trying to get their stuff all sorted out for the winter months. There's ways we can rework that in a more compassionate and conscientious way, I think. But there's other ways that people have understood this moon. For instance, in my oracle deck that I use from Ireland, this is known as the frost moon for the same thing. Like, the cold is coming and we need to make sure that our foodstuffs are ready, that our houses are ready, everything is ready in order to prepare us for these coming winter months. So maybe it's just a matter of turning it away from non-human animals and onto the larger season, which affects humans and other animals in many ways equally. So I will leave it at that. You can let me know what your thoughts are on the Beaver moon and how we might work with that in a vegan way. Maybe a nice thing to do if you're looking for some way to honor this full moon is to check out your local organization that's helping out beavers. I'm a member of the Kent Wildlife Trust, so I donate to them every single month, although don't agree with everything the Kent Wildlife Trust does, and that's for another video. There's always ways that we can help non-human animals and honor the full moon season, and it is a time for compassion for our community and social justice, no matter what your species is. Maybe that's even just walking down your local stream and picking up a bag of rubbish or litter. So I will leave it at that, and thanks very much for popping in to spend this full moon moment with me. And there's lots and lots of videos to come, so please do subscribe. That helps the channel to get seen, and also like, that helps the channel to get seen. And I hope you keep it witchy. I'll see you around the next time.